I came across a book, the Screwtape Letters. I've never really been invested in C.S. Lewis. I kind of resented the Narnia thing because it was turned into a film when I was a child, so it was like everywhere, and I never really cared for the Narnia books, and then later on I never really cared for C.S. Lewis's very English introduction to Christianity kind of vibe, or Tolkien, or also the Catholic. Like, see, I'm being mean, like, what do I know about Catholicism? Like, who am I to talk about Catholicism? So these are letters from this devil to his devil nephew, and he talks about the patients who are, the devil is trying to seduce them, and this is the advice. Real use of jokes or humour is in quite a different direction, and it is specially promising among the English, who take their sense of humour so seriously that a deficiency in this sense is almost the only deficiency at which they feel shame. Humour is for them the all-consoling and, mark this, the all-excusing grace of life. Hence it is invaluable as a means of destroying shame. If a man simply lets others pay for him, he is mean. If he boasts of it in a jocular manner and twits his fellows with having been scored off, he is no longer mean but a comical fellow. Mere cowardice is shameful. Cowardice boasted of with humorous exaggerations and grotesque gestures can be passed off as funny. But flippancy is the best of all. In the first place, it is very economical. Only a clever human can make a real joke about virtue, or indeed about anything else. Any of them can be trained to talk as if virtue were funny. Among flippant people, the joke is always assumed to have been made. No one actually makes it, but every serious subject is discussed in a manner which implies that they have already found a ridiculous side to it. If prolonged, the habit of flippancy builds up around a man the finest armour-plating against the enemy that I know, and it is quite free from the dangers inherent in the other sources of laughter. It's how you seduce somebody who might be a Christian, or you prevent people from having real intimacy with people. You just encourage their flippancy, encourage this cowardly humour, which does, I think, alter the way that people see things. Yeah, I do think I say stuff that it doesn't allow me to, just to relax and just be and just think purely, like let this stream of actual thought and feeling circulate. It's cutting the circulation. And then you find yourself emotionally cyanotic. Sorry, I really like that idea because I have Raynaud's phenomenon, so I quite often have cyanotic hands. It's actually quite funny because I would, shake hands with people and they're in like their 80s and their 90s, and they have cyanotic hands and like bad circulation, like hospital level bad circulation, and then they're feeling my hands and they're like, wow, you're cold, you have really cold hands. And it would actually be quite interesting, like two other people that I know with Raynaud's, with primary Raynaud's, so like it's not no underlying reason for having it, are INTPs, so maybe it's some sort of like emotional constipation that's created this cyanotic extremities. Like I would just say like really standoffish critical things about people, and yes, hoping that people will laugh, and sometimes they do laugh, and sometimes, daring to be provocative or daring to be callous, daring to be so directly dismissive is a form of humour, but it's also a form of flippancy, because I would say it about so many things. It's a form of just throwing stuff away and avoiding thinking or feeling, and but more that that stillness allows things to percolate, and it's almost like muscular relaxation, like the armour cracks off and you sort of you're just there, like with a beating heart and flesh and blood, and it's like relaxing into the room and becoming. And I keep using this word becoming, I don't really, it's because I'm struggling to put across my thoughts, but it's like the armour sort of cracks and peels back, because you're just still and you're resting and waiting and you're not resisting. And I think, you know, people then do think that you're critical, callous, shallow, that you resist the real thoughts and feelings. You know, not that they know that you're resisting them, but that they know that you're not that they know that it's a facade necessarily, but they know that you're not engaging deeply and meaningfully with the ideas, with the people, with your experiences, with your expressions. You do just come across callous and unappealing or immature emotionally or inconsiderate, which for me is not the case. Like, I do consider and I do care, and I'm sure a lot of people do. Like, I find the coldest, most dismissive people are the most sensitive ones. Or like when I would talk about why I would go to a church, I mean, yeah, there are like facetious reasons or aesthetic interest or weird psychological inclinations that you can extrapolate and abstract and look at academically and look at flippantly and humorously and stupidly, and you know, all of these things are true. Multiple things are true at once, but I think also it's just, you need that stillness and you need to just rest and just let your musculature, I don't know how to pronounce some things sometimes, just let it sort of happen. Let there be stillness and silence, and take things in and give things out and let things flow. And I think, you know, for so long resisting that through flippancy and obviously the Screwtape Letters is about resisting faith and resisting a connection to God, resisting being a true Christian, but I think it also is true of a lot of things, actually, true of a lot of interactions, and even in that you could be said to be resisting letting faith and love flow through you into your interactions. I think that it's something for me to think about, or at least something that I wanted to make a video about so that I could encapsulate some thoughts and see if that makes sense for other people and whether it's useful or whether it's just like a sort of documentation on the way to me finding other ways of expressing things.